oh maybe, you like my easy smile. And maybe, oh maybe, we'll stop for a little while. And maybe, oh maybe, I'll ask if you like tea. And maybe, oh maybe, you'll have a cup with me. And maybe we don't, and decide to take a walk. And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Ponder While We Wander is so grateful for our first community sponsorship. A big shout out to Pine Tree Market run by Michael and Katie Henderson and their lodging support for us during our stay in Yosemite National Park. We're so grateful not only for their support, but their excitement in helping us share all things ecopsychology to a wider audience. If you ever find yourself in Wawona, California, make sure to swing by Pine Tree Market, your corner market while you're in Wawona, and say hi for us. Sam the cat would love some pets as well. He's always at the ready to greet his human friends.
And you and I will ponder as we wander, as we walk.
Hello, Amber.
Hi, Natasha. Hello, beautiful forest that we're in right now.
Beautiful. And a little overcast, really high clouds up there, but not raining right now. Cold, crisp air as we're in Wawona, California, which is in the Yosemite National Forest. And the ancestral home of the Yosemite Indians and the Miwok tribe, who have yet to be federally recognized, and yet are the ancestral caretakers and descendants from this beautiful land. Look at this beautiful tree in front of us. Just
the grooves in the bark are so pronounced. It's really pretty.
And some lichen in the snow. It's very dramatic here in the wintertime, which it is right now. And there has been some snow recently, and so maybe taking a moment just to say hello and ground ourselves in this space. And if there's maybe an intention or a wish to kind of share with this space right now, do you have something to greet it with, or anything that's coming to you?
The part that's like, I like the in-breath, out-breath thing, like the in-breath of like hello and the out-breath of like thank you.
Okay.
Just kind of being here and providing us with all this beautiful landscape.
And in breath of hello. And an out breath of thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very grateful to be here with you today. And yeah, with the people who are choosing to be here with us, either in the future or in the way off future. Welcome to Ponder While We Wander.
Yeah. We're two friends who happen to be therapists go for a walk as we discuss relationships, nature, and meet life in the moment. Each episode is grounded in some aspect of ecopsychology, but can take us anywhere as we ponder while we wander. And you're welcome to come along.
Well, look, there is a little bit of a path there. But maybe we just stay on the one we're on.
Yeah, it looks a little slippery.
It's a little slippery.
And I'm appreciating this like beginning effort of a snowman. There's like the base. That's pretty big, a few feet across, and then that's it. Ran out.
Yeah. Today we are talking about ecotherapy and finding your nature prescription. And there are lots of people out here today. Maybe they are finding their nature prescription, and maybe they are not. There were some like wet, muddy socks at the beginning of this place, and I would say that is not in the spirit.
There was a shoe.
Oh, there was a shoe?
One clog. Interesting.
I think it's so devastating in these national forests where people are leaving trash behind and like socks and shoes, and like that is not the spirit that we are here to talk about today, because I think the essence of ecotherapy is how we put eco psychology into practice. And in that respect, if you listen to our ecotherapy or eco psychology episode, right, it is about relationship, reciprocal relationship, and deepening that connection.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you have a story, Natasha, of a time where you felt really connected?
I do. And I want to frame it in this concept of finding your nature prescription, because I think there's a lot of talk recently about, we know what the benefits of being in nature are. We've done several episodes where we've talked about the different ways in which we can benefit from being in a greater relationship. Yeah. Hi. Oh my gosh. So cute. Hi.
Just past a cute little doggy dog. This human family walking along.
So there are more professionals becoming more aware of this and trying to help people integrate nature prescriptions into practice. And there's some things that have popped up for me about what it is we're trying to do with nature prescriptions. And honestly, I think sometimes if a doctor tells you, or a therapist tells you, or somebody tells you, you need to get outside more, or you need more nature, that can be really, really big and expansive. And so my hope today is to talk about some of the ways where we can figure out what our own nature prescription might be, and get you guys thinking about, what that can look like, and where it starts with you. And when you're talking about story, I was thinking about the different parts of my life where my nature prescriptions, where let's go that way, the draw to being outside or in more relationship with the other than human natural world was calling me, and the ways that I've done that. And I think in my early adulthood life, there was a lot more call for me to do more adventurous things. I had
that slippery mud. No turn to mud.
Mud. There were people around me. I had community around me who liked to do things outside. I had camping friends. I had scuba diving friends. I had people who would go on hikes with me. I had artist friends who also would go on photo safaris with me. So that over time, when I started having more traditional full-time jobs and started a family, those kinds of longer times in nature or more maybe adventurous things weren't as accessible. And especially around the time when I had kids, I could tell that shifted in my priorities, like what was important about that, like being very conscious about what are some of the things that I would want my kids to be exposed to and learn from, and how to respect the natural environment. Oh, can you hear that? There's snow that is
Snow melting.
dripping. It's coming back into the water cycle. And so those kinds of things, like looking at my own values around that and what I wanted to pass on, especially, right, the respect for nature and also the safety measures, right? I wanted my kids, to be able to be safe and navigate their way around. So that was like early access points, and maybe things that weren't as adventuresome to me, but were absolutely adventuresome for kids.
Are you seeing the path here? Is it down these snowy
I don't see a path there.
stairs?
Maybe we just turn this way and go that way again.
We'll just turn back.
Yeah.
Turn around. And now we'll see it from this angle.
Now we'll see it from this angle.
Where we've been is now where we're going.
And now that my kids are grown and actually they're getting ready to go camping with a group themselves, sometimes we have to plan a little more because we share equipment and things that you would take with you.
Right.
So that's good. There's a lot more planning, but they're off on their own, and it allows me to then step back into ways of being. But also, when we were talking about this earlier, I noticed that it also became a deeper experience with me as I have gotten older. Taken on more of a spiritual connection with other than human nature and outdoors. And I could talk about that more if it comes up. But yeah, what are you noticing about your nature prescriptions or prescription?
Yeah, I was thinking about how, for me, when I was growing up, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and as an adult now, looking back, and having kids of my own and sort of seeing things in a different perspective through their experiences and eyes, I'm remembering how much of my childhood was actually very connected to nature, like lots of experiences of camping, and like we had like an Italian plum tree on my property, and like the family would gather when the plums were ripe, and we'd hold a sheet underneath, and someone would climb up in the tree and shake it, and thinking of my grandma like then drying those plums for the next week and preparing them and saving them. And my family was also very much into lots of subsistence of hunting and fishing, and which a lot of those connections also brought us outside a lot. And I think, growing up where I did, I had a little bit of a maybe tenuous relationship with nature as a kid. I was pretty, nervous and afraid of a lot of things. And I don't know if I fully appreciated that connection that was not just in my lifetime, but like spans generations back of my family living and working closely to the land. And so I think about, it now, and I think about my kiddos, and I see, having kind of moved back to the Pacific Northwest after a long period of time, like I'm kind of getting to reconnect and remember some of those threads and experiences, and feeling like very deeply grateful for a lot of those experiences, and also noticing where might there be some gaps in my own connection, and how do I want to deepen that in terms of whether it's something I want to learn or remember, or be able to just slow down and actually appreciate the beauty that's around me. So I think for me, that aspect of my relationship to nature always has some kind of deeper, I don't know, like deeper pull to it. Like it feels like being like exploring interconnectedness already every time. So I mean, I think that's maybe a long-winded way to say it, but places I naturally always feel drawn to are being on the sea, being near the water, watching for birds. A lot of my life at various points, I had jobs where I worked on the water. So like returning to the sea has always been a really strong pull for me, and probably one of the first places that I began taking my own children that felt like a good place for both of us. I got to be there, and it's one of the few places where I felt like my kiddos also could drop into that and like find their own connection, and like the rhythm would change. Like they could play, I could rest a little, we could do something together. So I always think of the sea and the beach when I think about nature, and lots of stories that I could dive into with that.
Yeah. I think about the qualities of what we might do in or around nature, the natural environment, that would make it an ecotherapy, right? As opposed to, just using nature for our consumption or what we need from it. And, many of the things that you're talking about have all those things that you're talking about have those qualities to it, right? Of being able to be conscious of not just using nature, but then also, there's a thing about like, don't leave an area leave it cleaner than you found it, right? Those are some of the principles of like scouting and things like that. Oh, this is the same place we came. Oh, never mind. I figured out where we are. That's okay.
Yeah, I think there was a turn available to us up there.
Let's go that way. So when I think about us finding these, and I'm going to use the word medicines here because I think if we can expand this idea of prescription or medicines to not just include pharmaceuticals, but that there are some medicines that maybe aren't even, directly related to the problem that you're having, right? But that are applied to us as human, that are integrated into how we are living in the world, that may have that side effect of actually increasing our wellness and appreciation of ourselves, and may even reduce our stress and anxiety. Some of the stuff that we talk about in terms of ecotherapies kind of falls into a realm of what's called attention restoration theory. And it's basically about how a lot of us live our lives inside and paying attention to things that are kind of right in front of us, and that we don't have a wide variety of what's drawing our attention on an everyday basis, and not just our mind attention, but our embodied experience of it. And so we find there's stress and anxiety. And to me, I have to pay attention to some of those signs, maybe even a subtle sign of like restlessness or my sleep is off or something, that tells me I need to look for something, or I need to just take an assessment of my own life and what I might be able to look is what is in balance and what is not in balance. So back to attention restoration theory. When we're outside, there are 4 things that happen that are really crucial to restoring our sense of holistic attention. One is there is this fascination with the outdoor world, and we're going to hopefully tomorrow go into a place and do an awe walk, AWE, awe walk. And so I think that fits into that sense of fascination and that biophilia. We've done an episode on that. We're naturally drawn to the outside. Also, that it removes us from some of the things that are contributing to our stress and anxiety. It also brings awareness to the extent or complexity of what is around us. And when we do that, we reduce our boredom. Maybe another way to say that is like we become excited, or like Esther Perel talks about the erotic, like what makes you feel alive in the world. I heard a little something over here. Maybe there's a little animal in there. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm just hearing things.
I think I heard it too, but it hasn't emerged yet.
And then when we're outside and we're looking at these therapies or medicines, if there's a compatibility that we have with our environment, like what we are doing is just the right amount of ease, but also challenge. And when we have that kind of connection, it leads us a lot of times to have harmony with the greater world. And so that might be what I would look for if I was looking for myself an ecotherapy, or for somebody else to explore where to start from.
For an assessment of where to begin. Yeah. I think some things I might add to that would be, questions. I love questions. I'm all about the questions. But some of that comes up for me when I think about, okay, what would be a nature prescription? How might I assess that for myself? Or how might I explore that with a client, right? I would include, like, what are some of your stories and memories? You and I both have been sharing a few stories and memories about nature. Where I've felt connected before. Right? Sometimes when we don't know quite even where to start, sometimes thinking about, maybe there's a place I just have forgotten about, but it kind of takes us a moment to sort of check it out. Or maybe where do you long to be connected? Maybe there's something that's kind of always been, and you're like, I want to do this, or I want to go there. Or, and I have places, I have friends that have places that are like, I can't wait till I can go see this place or explore this place, or maybe learn this thing about, something that brings me closer to the land and to nature. What's accessible and available to you, right? We want to make this easy, low threshold barriers we talk a lot about, right? And I know we're going to talk more about some maybe really tangible ways and things and in a little bit, but and for me, I have 2 young kids and I work, and a lot of times logistics and scheduling are like it feels like a giant wheel for me to turn sometimes. And so thinking about how might I notice times in my day where there might already be moments of access that I've overlooked or would be helpful to reframe in some sense. So those are a few more components I would think about for this access to your own nature prescription and what that might look like.
Yeah. If you are a helper or a therapist or a prescriber of any sort, you know that the part that comes before the prescription is to do the assessment. And that's where I find that list that you have and what we already know as maybe clinicians or prescribers, and those of us, even if you are an educator and you are, offering ways for people to notice what's around them, right? There are real barriers that people have that could be traumas in their own life. It could just be that there is not a lot of access, or what I find sometimes is things that might sound to me like common sense for being in the outdoors is not always common sense because people have not had that experience, even from a young age. And so being able to recognize that what we know may not be what everybody knows, and kind of doing that assessment, however you do that, however you can integrate that into your practice, if you are deciding you're going to prescribe some kind of nature or ecotherapy.
Yeah. Yeah. And with what you just said, that brings up one more thing I might add to this assessment or exploration about it. It's like, of course we don't have to do this alone, right?
Of course we don't.
It doesn't have to be a by yourself thing. There's so many groups and access points, and I know we'll get into the details of that a little bit more, but I think just remember that too. And I think, we've talked about this before in other episodes, but the idea sometimes that challenges can be felt or seen or framed in a way that like this is a you problem only, and we always are kind of pulling out into a larger system at play, and the forces of that and the challenges or what the system brings. And thinking about this too is like, you don't have to learn everything from scratch or figure it all out. It's really nice, at least for me personally, to be in a group of like either varying knowledge where everybody can kind of share, you can learn from each other, or, I might have a friend that's like really into X, Y, or Z, and it's easy for me to kind of join with them and learn from them. And I have a friend back home that's always asking me, like, do you want to go walking? And particularly, like, do you want to bring your dog and go walking? Because I've got some nervousness around dogs, and she's really confident with dogs because she has a lot of experience and a good connection there. So I might feel more willing to try this thing if I'm going with someone that I know has a different understanding than I do. So don't have to do it by yourself.
Absolutely. I think that what you said earlier about reducing the barriers, I think of them as like a threshold. Like sometimes it's a literal threshold between like your indoor space to stepping outside.
Yes.
Right.
People with young kids, we're talking to you.
Yeah. Young kids, but even...
or I'm talking to them.
Even the part of like... I'm not an outdoorsy person. I don't have the clothes, or I don't have you're looking at an image, or you have an image of what an outdoorsy person is.
Yeah, right?
Like,
who decides?
Yeah, that sometimes that is a barrier.
It is.
Like, I don't have the right shoes. And some of these things take some gear and some things like that, but sometimes it's as easy as put your shoes by the door so you can find them, and keep your sweater or coat by the door if you need it, right? Or whatever it is that reduces the barriers of... It's just human nature that we will find the path of least resistance. If it is easier for me to turn around and go back inside and grab a cup of coffee and sit on the couch, I might do that rather than choose a different option. But if I know that, and I really have this value of incorporating more nature time or outdoor time in my life, then what are the things I can do to set myself up for, that success in that way?
Yeah.
And we learn success by failing. So don't be afraid to fail. Keep failing, because your failure will tell you where that change might need to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also a really big fan of, not everything has to happen on the same day. So if your goal is to step outside or cross that threshold, it's like maybe on the first day you think about it. Maybe on the next day you're like, where are my shoes? Maybe on the third day you're like, there's my shoes, I'm gonna put them by the door. Like, we can break it down into really small, accessible pieces. And if we can kind of be compassionate and give ourselves even some of that grace and permission, like, okay, I'm going in this direction, and I'm gonna, might take me a moment to get there, and that is okay.
Yeah. So the other thing you and I were talking about, big trucks going by. Some things that you and I were talking about in terms of what do you have? I use the word grab bag. Like, what do you have in your grab bag? Because sometimes we have to kind of use the time that we have available to us. And if we find ourselves having, I have a 10 minutes, or I have a half an hour, or I have a whole day available, but we hadn't really thought about what we might do with that, then that is another one of those kind of barriers to being able to incorporate this stuff. And so we were thinking about what are things that we might consider being an ecotherapy, or a kind of way of connecting us more to the natural world and having that reciprocal relationship. And so we came up with a list of things that are in our collective grab bags. And I can start reading them. We can stop and talk about them.
Sure.
So you have mentioned earlier about working on water or with water. Right? So that includes maybe sailing or...
Yeah. I think I've mentioned before, I used to work on whale watching boats growing up. I worked with a family for a while that spent a lot of time on the water, and so I would go with them either down to the marina or longer journeys down the East Coast. An outrigger and crew and rowing boats and anything that kind of puts you in the water. I could never quite master something like wakeboarding or water skiing. I tried, but it wasn't my jam.
I think that people who are doing those polar plunges, if you're doing that outside, and that might be your form of ecotherapy. Sure. Bird appreciation. So many people have gotten very interested in birds, and we did a whole episode about birds and how it ties you into the world. And then also there's community around it. Tide pooling, one of my favorite things to do, and beach combing.
Yes.
Really fulfilling that hunter-gatherer kind of part of ourselves of looking for cool things.
My family were really big on looking for beach glass.
Oh, yeah.
And heart-shaped rocks.
Aw.
We're always looking for heart-shaped rocks and, finding those.
Nature walks, like we're doing now. Camping, plant tending, like maybe indoor plants, bring a little of the outdoors indoors there. Or gardening.
Yes.
Or tending to the natural plants that grow in your area, because sometimes there are invasive species. So removing those, or what we might call weeding, so that the native plants of the area can grow.
Mushroom hunting.
Mushroom hunting.
In certain areas too, I guess I'm speaking of my area, there's a certain plant that starts to come out around spring. So keeping an eye out for For that one, I think it's called the Trillium, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So whenever we see that, I'm like, oh, kind of get excited.
Yeah, getting to know what is in your local area. That would maybe fit under wildlife observation.
Yeah.
Plants and animals in your area and just observing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we observe like backyard birding. If you have a bird feeder or water. Yeah. There's nature, journaling, which we will talk about later, but also journaling with nature, which we do have an episode on. If you're interested in that. Music and nature.
Love it.
That could be anything. A lot of times in the summer, outdoor concerts happen in areas. I particularly like sitting around a campfire and singing or strumming a guitar.
Yeah, sometimes when you've got that like niggling feeling right below the surface, or I might be like, oh, I think there's something happening. I can't quite access it, but I'm feeling the impacts of perhaps an emotion or a memory. I really like to just pick a song or put on some music and actually go outside. The music can maybe help me access the emotion, and then being in nature while I'm doing that also feels like it kind of helps hold whatever comes up.
Is that like that interplay between what Paulina Oliveras calls deep listening? She was one of the kind of mothers of kind of blending deep listening and music and found sounds and a way of listening. We should go into that more later, but yeah, music and nature, forest bathing, silvotherapy is also part of, forest bathing is part of that, but also bringing it indoors, essential oils, maybe even herbalism, rock hunting, garden walks, nature photography, equine therapy, earthing, where you just allow the ground to do its work and look up at the sky. Sit there, lay down, sit spots we've talked about, nature companioning, finding a companion in nature that you can have a relationship with.
Yeah, we were also talking a little bit about, right, sort of mentioned like a CSA in your area, like being able to participate in like a community agricultural vegetable share. Like it helps just by doing that, you're getting stuff that's local and in season in your area. You might learn about, a farmer or, just participating in that way. Like I think part of our intention with this list was trying to get really creative about like noticing all of the small and larger ways that we might already have access. And it's not always just like going outside for a hike, which I think we've kind of said that, but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even if you have things that you already do, like fiber arts or canning or harvesting local fruits and vegetables, or you've got a fruit tree on your property and you have an abundance of fruit, being able to share it with neighbors or a co-op. And, some people invest in other ways, like connecting with local organizations, or even just surrounding yourself with other people who are interested in having a deeper connection. Maybe it's a green exercise group. Maybe it's a community garden. Maybe also
a talk at your library. There's lots of ways to.
I love the idea too that you were talking about of bringing Sometimes it's as simple as opening your window, letting the fresh air come in, or being able to see outside a window at trees and a view if you have anything out there. Maybe you've planted a little something on your trellis or your patio. Maybe it's a picture. Maybe you don't have access to that. Maybe you have a beautiful picture that you can see. You talked about these little nooks that you set up, and I called them like little nature altars in your home.
Yeah, I liked that naming of it. But I was realizing when we were talking about that, I kind of in each room of my home, I have some area that's like, it's almost like if you were to take a picture or put it in a frame, like there's a certain like spatial area to look that will have some kind of plant or picture of nature. A lot of times if people bring me flowers, I save those and dry them, and I set them in little vases, or I collect them, but it's a place to, like I have one in, places that I tend to be that are very easy for me to see at a glance, that I can look up and kind of see these little, I guess what I'm going to be calling them now is nature altars, which I like. And it just soothes my soul a little bit. And it's very simple, and it's not expensive, and it's just something that reminds me of my connections and interconnectedness and the beauty that's around me. And for me personally, when I think about a lot of these things that we've talked about with the nature prescription, part of what catches it, or maybe has part of the medicinal quality for me, or maybe amplifies the medicinal quality, is pausing for a moment to allow the impact of the medicine to be felt. So that might be for me noticing if there's a subtle internal shift, maybe less fidgety in the body, or less buzzy, or allowing a memory to come and spending like actual time with it and kind of revisiting the quality or texture of it, or pausing and having like intentional gratitude about it, or pausing and considering like the connection and the interconnectedness. Like one example I was sharing with you was really about crossing the threshold. Like for me, sometimes just being able to step over the doorway to get outside for me, can sometimes be hard, but working with that, and then noticing like every time I go outside to do that, even if it's just for a moment, if that's all I have available to me, paying attention to that internal shift that sort of happens, like even just by the nature of being outside, we often gaze a lot farther than we do. It actually helps us see a wider picture, to see how we're a part of something bigger, greater, larger. There's a whole world and ecosystem happening beyond what we might be spending time with inside, or not having as much access to. So I think there's also maybe getting curious about like, what is that shift for you, or what is that quality shift, or attention, or awareness, or connection? What do you notice about that?
One of the things that I notice is my sense of linear time goes away. Like I lose I lose track of linear time. So like right now, I have a feeling that we've talked longer than we normally talk in these things, just by knowing how far we've walked. But I have no gauge of like how long it's been, which is really interesting when I'm out here in this space.
It happens to me a lot when I'm in the water, or by the water.
Especially.
I really think it changes the time dimension.
Yeah, we should talk about that more. Well, any ponder points that you would like to leave behind?
Well, I guess I kind of just mentioned that, and I think I'll just restate that. It's like, I'm realizing that was kind of my ponder point when I said it, but yeah, what can you notice about that?
Yeah.
And does the noticing of that shift it for you or not? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'm inviting you to be curious about what your experience is.
And I'm going to leave a ponder point of if you are a person who is getting ready to or has prescribed nature, I'm going to invite you to step back from that part that makes you maybe the expert in prescribing things, and then turn that back to yourself. Like really look at what is in your grab bag of ways that you incorporate this stuff. And then also think about how you would build an assessment for people to find their way to their own nature prescription. And for those of you who are looking to self-prescribe nature, right, to do the same thing, really take an assessment and just slow that process down and find different ways. Hopefully, we planted some of the seeds that can help you take off. But yeah, let's talk more about what that can look like.
Can you hear that bird?
I can. What is that one?
I hope it chirps again as the car goes by. But
That one?
that one.
It's really beautiful. There's a bunch of them over there. Okay, and the next episode that we have coming up is going to be about forest bathing, and we're still going to be here in Yosemite National Forest. So look forward to that one, because that is one of the ones that you can do, and a lot of more people are becoming forest bathing practitioners. So, yay.
Yeah. Until then, Natasha,
Wander well.